This is the farthest way of home I've ever been.
Yeah, it's just really hard. And my next concern is obviously the size of our server. Now, I've tried to do, pickup groups and stuff like that, and sometimes it's just hard to just even get a six-man together. What do you think either Turbine can do or anybody else really to maybe pick up the amount of people? And I know that when expansions come out, of course, people come back and stuff like that, but to keep them, I don't want to be, 2 months in and you can't find a group at all. Is there anything that you think that they could do? Or, I mean,
Well, first things first, I promise you, as long as there's 12 people capable of doing raids on this server, I'll be here to lead them. I'm loyal to Silverlode and I'm loyal to the people that are on this server. It saddened me greatly when they couldn't even fill the servers that they had, and instead of doing some server merging, they opened more servers. I couldn't believe it. I'm like, what the heck are you people thinking? This server has lost some seriously good players over the years who have left to go to Brandywine and Alendelmere and Villia because they're more populated and they be able to get more stuff done. And I mean, we used to have Jazrick and Castellan and Red Rover and I don't want to leave anybody out, but the list just goes on and on and on and on of people who were excellent players, great raiders, knowledgeable of all classes, and they just got bored because there wasn't enough people on the server. And in my opinion, if you can't fill your servers, don't open more, for crying out loud.
right. And the do you think that it would be possible? Is it viable for them to maybe somehow get a system together where they can put something together where you can get people from other servers and maybe merge together into a raid? Is that doable, do you think?
That is 100% doable, and there are other games out there that do that. You could go into a full community board where you post for a group and cross cert, be able to access people from other servers. It is doable. I know it's a lot of programming. I'm not a programmer. I'm a hardware guy, and I understand that end of it a lot better than I do the programming. But there's a lot of things that they could do. We can take, just for instance, things that they don't do because it's corporate now. I mean, if you take a good hard look at the game over the last 6 months, all of a sudden, a flawlessly running game starts lagging like crazy. We're at the point now where it is absolutely impossible to do a flight tier 2, a BFE tier 2. When the Inferno comes out, the game just locks up, and it's because they've cut their bandwidth down. I know it. They changed ISPs. The rumor is that they're sharing servers with Google. I don't know if that's true or not, but I do know that their ability to serve this game is greatly diminished, and it is causing horrible gameplay. And I'd be willing to bet all the gold I got and a few real dollars that it was because some corporate bean counter came up to the bosses and said, hey, we can save some money. Let's switch ISPs and cut our bandwidth. And who cares about what happens in the game, or who cares if it becomes impossible to do content, as long as we're saving a couple bucks. And I do understand that the economy's rough out there, but guys, I'm begging you, Turbine, take it back to the old way. You're killing me here.
Yeah, I mean that's true. I mean, ever since I think the merger, it's kind of been going downhill on a pretty slippery slope. So yeah, I mean, I think everyone's pretty much just waiting for Helm's Deep, and I think that's going to be the straw that either keeps people or we see a lot of people leave.
Well, I can tell you now that I know 4 people that are in beta. They're completely 100% obeying the non-disclosure agreement, but they've also told me that because of playing in beta, they have no intentions of buying the expansion. And these are all good players. So what does that tell you? It's going to tell you that some of the better players of the server are not going to like what's happening.
Now, from what I've heard, it sounds to me like they're maybe trying to reinvent the wheel, basically trying to get people, I don't know if it's going to make everybody relearn their class, or how do you feel about that rumor?
Well, I can tell you now that after almost 6 years of playing this game, the last thing I want to do is relearn how to play all my tunes. I enjoy them the way they are, and I've always said they've made changes to the tunes over the years because they needed to even it out between the mobs and the tunes that you're playing. Well, as far as I'm concerned, if you need to do that, change your content. Don't change the way you've made the tunes. Don't make somebody completely relearn how to play it. For God's sake, we got enough that don't know how to play it as it is, and you're going to make them relearn it.
Yeah, you brought it up. I mean, with the whole learning the new class thing, how do you feel about the new class trees? I mean, I know a lot of people have been waiting for this change to come to Lotro for a while to have a little bit more, customizable builds and stuff like that. I mean, are you excited about the tree system?
Not exactly. I mean, I'm only basing this on the little bit that I've heard about it. Personally, I do have a beta invite sitting in my email box, but as a kin leader, I think it's unfair to my kin if I go over there because I know how I am. I would be in beta all the time, and I wouldn't be able to be here for my kin. But I also think of it as kind of like opening your Christmas present early, and I'm a patient kind of person. I like to wait for the right time. So I'm not going to make too many judgments on it. I will give it an honest, quote-unquote, college try to see if I can like it. But from what I've heard, I mean, let's take the Runekeeper, for instance. The Runekeeper was created in the first place to allow people to have that choice. I can be a healer. I can be a DPS machine. And I can flip in-game in the middle of content, i.e. a minstrel goes down. Well, steady hands for a Runekeeper is made to be able to flip from DPSing to healing or healing to DPSing. They seem to be taking that away. And then I'm wondering what's the point behind the Runekeeper now? If you're going to force them to pick one side of the tree or the other, you're completely crapping all over what the point of that class is.
Yeah, I know champs too, they're kind of going through the same thing. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see how the trees impact on how, what people do as far as roles and stuff.
I do know there's a lot of people worried about it, I mean, they're thinking of it the same way I am. Hey, we'll have to see what happens, but this could be the death of the game. And again, that saddens me. This is everybody who likes the lore loves to be able to play the game. They feel like they're a part of the story this way. And I feel like I'm a part of the story, and I like that. But what they're doing right now, it just seems like it's all about money. And it's not for us players. It's not about money. And I know they're making money off that store. There's no doubt that they are. There's people that, there's a lot of pay-to-win people on this server as well, and others, I'm sure. I've never played on another server, so I can't really speak about them. Again, I bring up my loyalty to the Silverlode server. Again, if I went to another server, I would probably be over there all the time, and I feel like that's not fair to the people who have entrusted me to be their leader for the kin. So I like to be here for those people, but I really hope that this isn't the death of the game, and it very well could be.
Well, you definitely gave us a lot of insight, and I want to just thank you personally for taking the time out and talking to us today.
Sure, like I said, I'm honored to be asked to do it. If you guys have any other questions along the way that you'd like to add to it, feel free to hit me up whenever you're around and you see me, and I'll be happy to answer any other questions. I hope I've answered the ones that you've asked me to a good degree here.
Oh, there's plenty more to ask. Just based on time, though, we'll definitely have to do maybe a part 2 or something like that. And also, for everybody else out there, please, 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 if you have anything to say, comment, or if you have anything to if you want to bring up into this channel, just send us a line or something, and we'll try and get you in. We want feedback from other servers, other classes, other leaders, even other points of view. If you are extreme elitist or something and have completely opposite views, please feel free to tell us, and we would love to get your opinion in here. We're trying to bring everything back to the people. We're hopefully, if we get enough feedback and enough voices, maybe Turbine will listen, or et cetera, et cetera. So really, if you have anything to say, please say something.